cortex, a different sort of explanation must be sought for the rapidly changing, permuting play of geometric forms. Here we need dynamic explanations, a consideration of the ways in which the activity of millions of nerve cells can produce complex and ever-changing patterns. We can actually see, through such hallucinations, something of the dynamics of a large population of living nerve cells, and in particular, the role of self-organization in allowing complex patterns of activity to emerge. Such activity operates at a basic cellular level, far beneath the level of personal experience. The hallucinatory forms are, in this way, physiological universals of human experience. Perhaps such experiences are at the root of our human obsession with pattern and the fact that geometrical patterns find their way into our decorative arts. As a child, I was fascinated by the patterns in our house. The square-colored floor tiles on the front porch, the small hexagonal ones in the kitchen, the herringbone pattern on the curtains in my room, the check pattern on my father's suit. When I was taken to the synagogue for services, I was more interested in the mosaics of tiny tiles on the floor than in the religious liturgy, and I loved the pair of antique Chinese cabinets in our drawing room, for embossed on their lacquered surfaces were designs of wonderful intricacy on different scales, patterns nested within patterns, all surrounded by clusters of tendrils and leaves. These geometric and scrolling motifs seemed somehow familiar to me, though it did not dawn on me until years later that this was because I had seen them in my own head, that these patterns resonated with my own inner experience of the intricate tilings and swirls of migraine. Migraine-like patterns, indeed, can be found in Islamic art, in classical and medieval motifs, in Zapotec architecture, in the bark paintings of Aboriginal artists in Australia, in Acoma pottery, in Swazi basketry, in virtually every culture, going back tens of thousands of years. There seems to have been throughout human history a need to externalize and make art from these internal experiences, from the cross-hatchings of prehistoric cave paintings to the swirling psychedelic art of the 1960s. Do the arabesques and hexagons in our own minds, built into our brain organization, provide us with our first intimations of formal beauty? There is an increasing feeling among neuroscientists that self-organizing activity in vast populations of visual neurons is a prerequisite of visual perception, that this is how seeing begins. Spontaneous self-organization is not restricted to living systems. One may see it in the formation of snow crystals, in the roilings and eddies of turbulent water, in certain oscillating chemical reactions. Here, too, self-organization can produce geometries and patterns in space and time, very similar to what one may see in a migraine aura. In this sense, the geometrical hallucinations of migraine allow us to experience in ourselves not only a universal of neural functioning, but a universal of nature itself.